people, but we like to keep things to about 3 minutes. And that's what we publish, is that we have 3 minutes. So I'm not going to cut you off in the middle of a sentence. I want you to complete your thought, but please be thoughtful of time. First card I have is from Mike Price. All right, good evening.
Thank you. Mike Price, MAP Engineer, 7380 Applegate Lane, Chattanooga, Tennessee, representing BC Development. And if it's all right, I'd like to pass these out. I know the normal process in first reading is that you really don't get into any sort of discussion or votes as it relates to items as it relates to annexation or rezonings. But as you deliberate in the coming week or start thinking on this, there are some things and factors that hopefully you will take into consideration as you get ready to consider the vote. One is that we are looking at a development that at the end of the day, homes are going to be at a minimum of 1,500 square feet. We have a number of conditions, and if you study those, you will find that those conditions deal with architectural controls, give a quality of a development as it relates to the exterior siding and what one can expect. There was some discussion as it related to the development to the north of us, Windermere subdivision. And so they were concerned as it related to the property values and how this might negatively affect those. Let me tell you that we back up to 8 lots, and here's what I found. There are 5 homes that are valued in the 400s. There's one home that's just over 500,000, and there are 2 homes that are at 635 and 699,000. We are proposing homes that will range between mid or upper 300s to the mid 450s. So we're not that dissimilar. We are dissimilar in size. We fully admit to that. And so we proposed a 180-foot buffer at a minimum between us and our neighbor. We could even, at the end of the day, dedicate some of that land to some of the residents that we back up to, maybe in some areas as much as 50 feet. Where the ponds are, it would be less, but we could dedicate land at no charge to those residents if they want to take further control as it relates to the screening that would back up to them. There are homes that are also in Hagues Mill. Every one of those that we found were in the high 300s to the mid 400s, which is exactly our same price point. So we are not dissimilar to what is around us, especially when you take into fact that it's industrial and apartments to our west, industrial to the south. As it relates to, we're really a buffer as it relates to our neighbors that we're providing and that we'll continue to provide just with the development. There was a lot of discussion about what people want in terms of size of lots. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for over 40 years. When I first started, we didn't do any homes on any lots that were typically under 100-foot width. Today, I'm doing lots on 40 feet widths. Why? Development costs have gone through the roof. Road costs when we first started this were maybe $125 a linear foot. Today, they're over $1,000. You can't afford to put big lots and expect those to be on anything except $1 million homes. And not everybody can afford $1 million home. I have children. They are having the same struggle trying to find homes. If we don't provide inventory, we're not going to be able to have my children be able to find, and maybe yours as well, places to live. The only way we can do this is to increase the inventory. So what we looked at is how can we do this in a thoughtful and provocative way that makes sense, especially to the neighboring properties. That's why we have all those architectural controls that we have proposed that I've passed out. That's the type of product that we're looking at. Hardy type boards, brick, stone, very little vinyl accents at the end of the day. So we're looking at upping the game, so to speak, in terms of what one can expect that you were the neighbor that would have joined this property. We're not looking at trying to build anything that is of a low quality. We've got all these architectural controls that we're willing to put in writing. So as you think about this coming into your deliberation next week and hopefully then the week after that, think of this as we are not that dissimilar in terms of price point from our neighbors. Size-wise, we are. No argument there. But when you're considering the fact that we have an 180-foot buffer, I've done industrial developments that didn't have a 30-foot buffer next to residential areas. 180 feet is by and far one of the largest I have ever seen as it relates to residential, abutting residential. So as you consider this, that's what I would ask is as we get into next week and the more dog and pony show takes place, these are the factors I think that are important as it relates to what you should consider and deliberate, because this is not your standard cookie cutter subdivision. This is a step above that. If there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Price, for providing these materials. Are you going to reference anything that you have over there on the wall, just if people
Oh,
want? You did that
thank you
too.
for reminding me. Yes, anyone after the meeting, we have some presentation boards that we can meet out in the lobby area, and we will be happy to show people exactly what was passed out to the commission this evening.
All right, thank you very much for your time. All right, next person, Becky Ferguson. Good evening, Ms. Ferguson.
Do I have
Oh,
to?
there you
Here
go.
we go. Hey, good evening. I'm Becky Ferguson. I reside in the Windermere subdivision that he was referencing, and my property is directly adjacent to the subject property. I'm here just to discuss, I don't know if I have to reference it or not, the points 9, 10, and 11 on the agenda from BC Managing, what they're proposing to do. Several of our neighbors we've met and we've discussed this proposed rezoning. We don't have any issue with the annexation. And I would like to present numerous concerns shared by my neighbors regarding this potential change, some of which are here tonight supporting this effort. The subject property is currently zoned R2, the low-density single-family residential, which aligns with the established residential areas along Hag Mill and within the Windermere subdivision. So we're looking at the zoning consistency there. And the rezoning request, excuse me, to approve the R40 lot line is not consistent with the surrounding established residential areas. There's no crystal ball about property values, but yes, we do have concerns about the rezoning. That property values will be directly affected for those along Canterbury, as well as potentially as the subdivision as a whole. Also, to point out about the current zoning, it being R2, we believe the subject property already has a reasonable economic use as it is currently zoned, and the R4 would not necessarily, or is not necessary. We also have concerns regarding traffic on the bypass. Our understanding is a traffic study was conducted, but specifically for the proposed intersection along Willowdale Road where the subdivision would enter. We request a new traffic study to determine how increased traffic flow on and off of Willowdale Road would impact traffic flow on the bypass. This area is already congested and traffic routinely backs up west of Willowdale Road with insufficient distance to actually access Willowdale. We also have some environmental concerns. Right now, for an R40 lot line to be considered, the majority, if not all, the green space would be removed. These tree canopies and underbrush within these approximate 42 acres currently act as a noise barrier and as a light shield from our subdivision to the interstate. I-75 exit 336, as well as barriers to the Dalton bypass. This natural area serves as a barrier to the businesses in that area, including gas stations, restaurants, and retail stores. If rezoning is approved, these barriers are eliminated. We're also concerned just about the ecosystem in general and how the rezoning would impact the existing wildlife and its future conservation. We would also like to know a viable plan to mitigate the deer population that live in that area. Displacement may result in forcing deer either into our neighborhoods or pushing out onto nearby roads, such as the bypass, resulting in deer vehicle collisions and property damage. So just in summary, we hope that you would consider our request to deny the zoning change based on zoning consistency, the potential impact property values of existing developments. And we are trying to maintain our neighborhood's long-standing character and, of course, the impact of rezoning on the infrastructure and the environment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. All right. The next card is Alex Pace. Good evening, Mr. Pace.
Good evening. How are we doing there? Okay, so I've been at this for a year now, also with your predecessor regarding the homeless population, begging, panhandling, Willowdale, Crow Valley, Willowdale, Chattanooga Road, Sugar Road, Walmart entrance, Old Chattanooga Road coming up to the North Bypass, Walmart on Walnut Street where people are living on mattresses right out in public. We've got to do better. How can we have signs posted on the Walnut Street Bridge saying no loitering, but yet Eagle Nick audits can get a ticket for loitering, doing a First Amendment audit, protected activity, videoing in there, but yet the police cannot chase the homeless from panhandling. Now, I did a quick look on it. It's considered free speech. Why can we not then put signs on these stop signs saying no loitering? Any solutions you guys are going to put out in the other areas, I'm going to bring back and give to you. Why don't we get a resource from mental health services? Pay somebody right out there with sheriffs or police department, come and offer them services, make contact, make sure they're protected, dealing with them. We have all these services for children. Let's get these services going for these adults out there. Constantly seeing 2 or 3 people within a stone's throw of each other, holding signs, asking for assistance, or just sitting there. It's kind of getting old. Seeing an older man with a sign and his woman and his wife partner in a wheelchair, no legs, standing out there on Sugar and North Bypass holding signs. This isn't a you problem. This is an us problem. If people are opposed to it, let's put them in their communities. Let's let them see them every day. The encampments need to go. Understand it's on private property, but those can be addressed. Health concerns can be easily pointed out with these people living there, using the facilities out in public. And when the rain comes, it's washing it out in the street and wherever else it could go to. So I'm not coming up here saying you have a problem. I'm coming up saying we have a problem, and I'm giving you solutions. I'm giving you ideas. I am from California. I've seen Skid Row. My dad lives in Ontario, 15 miles from him. Encampments have moved. We are 5 years away from becoming Atlanta, where we've got this problem out of control and we're trying to figure out how to resolve it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. All right. Alicia Hickman. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Hickman. I reside in Whitfield County. I am opposed to the building of AI data centers. According to biologists and researchers at the Tennessee Aquarium, the Conasauga Rivershed is one of 2 freshwater rivers in our area that contains more fish species per mile than any other North American river. The tri-spot darter is a fish that grows 1.5 inches long. It does not lay eggs in rivers or creeks. Biologists from the Tennessee Aquarium are in Dalton studying its migration to temporary wetlands to lay their eggs in submerged vegetation, sticks, and leaves, according to a March 2025 article posted on tnaqua.org titled Searching for Elusive Tri-Spot Darters in the Heart of Dalton. The Conasauga River is a free-flowing stream originating in the Cuyahoga Mountains. Murray County residents recently opposed the building of AI data centers. Okay, and I asked for you guys to be given this sticker. All right. This sticker is the Conasauga Blue Burrower, found within the Chatsworth city limits. It even lives in the citizens' yards. Its maximum length is about 3 inches. The Conasauga River is free of pollution until you go further downstream, where PFAS is not only in our streams, but it's also in our bloodstreams, as stated in a February 2026 PBS article titled Takeaways from Investigation into the Toxic Forever Chemical Legacy of the South's Carpet Industry. I read an article this summer about monarch butterflies that made me think of the Dr. Seuss quote from the Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. The eastern migratory population of monarch butterflies has declined by 80% over the past 4 decades, according to an article published in the Tennessee Tribune, April 2025. Monarch butterflies, the orange and black butterflies, migrate through Dalton, Georgia. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service proposes that western monarchs stand a 99% chance of extinction by 2080. I am a middle school math and science teacher. The students I teach this year will grow up being the last generation with monarch butterflies if we do not stop habitat destruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Hickman. Carmen Schuler.
I think I have enough copies for them. I'm Carmen Schuler, and I'm here representing a group of concerned citizens on data center development. We were here 2 weeks ago, and we submitted a data center ordinance proposal to you. And we hope you've been considering it, hopefully having your attorney look at it in terms of moving ahead with it quickly. What we're presenting tonight is a moratorium proposal. A moratorium is not a ban. A moratorium is a pause to enable the council time to prepare the ordinance. We have ordinances on signs, ordinance on alcohol beverage service, those kinds of things. But what this is a temporary 6-month moratorium on the acceptance, review, rezoning, permitting, or construction of new data center developments within the city of Dalton. We're also asking the same thing of Whitfield County. The purpose is to allow sufficient time to evaluate the impacts associated with data center and to adopt comprehensive regulations that protect residents, infrastructure, public utilities, and natural resources, and hopefully wildlife. This request is not intended to prohibit responsible economic development. Rather, it is intended to ensure that future development occurs in a manner that protects the long-term interests of us. And that means future generations. I know you can do this for you. I think it is in our best interest. All across the nation, municipalities are putting moratoriums in place so that they can develop ordinances before they move forward. And that's what we're asking of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schuler. Next, Christine Briggs.
Thank you for hearing me. My name is Christine Briggs. I am a member of the community. I am a resident of Whitfield County. And many years ago, I used to sit in a seat very much like yours in Michigan. I was born and raised in Berrien County, Michigan. Right next to it is a county, Allegan County. And I've been closely watching it because it does affect some of my family members, particularly the noise, the increase in the cost of electricity, and the concern of clean water. So I'm here to support what has been proposed and to have a moratorium for 6 months to review some of these concerns. The increased electricity cost for residential customers in this day and age with our economy and the up and coming cuts to Medicare Part D for special needs and help, and to cuts for Medicare or Medicaid and people who are on Social Security disability, like myself. So for increases, it's a strangle. It's a strangle for us. It's difficult. And there are many of people like myself who are struggling. And any more in cost increased is simply more difficult. Electricity, there is an extraordinary demand for these facilities. And that is a concern for me. Many of these centers consume millions of gallons of water annually for cooling purposes. The closed-loop cooling technologies is not being used in many of them across the country. And I think it would be a really good idea to look into that. And there are many other things that I don't have time to talk about, but I really would like to request that you take this time to consider a 6-month pause and look at all of the options and all of the things that need to happen and that are going to affect us as a community. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Briggs. All right, I do not have any other public comment cards. If you filled one out, your name hasn't been called, if you'll please, okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand or coming forward. So I believe we captured all of those. We appreciate your all's thoughtfulness and respectful manner in which your comments were presented this evening. We're going to move on to item number 1 under presentation staff reports. Andrew?
We do have one this evening, Madam Mayor, Candace Eaton, Community Engagement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I am just here to remind you guys that this Saturday is our National Night Out, which we partner with Dalton Police Department and Dalton Fire Department. We will be at Burr Park. There's a band 6 to 8, all the fire trucks, police cars, crime scene guys, all different other agencies will be there, along with resources for our community. So that is this Saturday from 6 to 8. And the other thing I'd like to tell you about is next Tuesday is GMA's National Selfie with a Government Building Day. So you will see me going out to different government buildings, getting some selfies with people, and I expect to get a selfie with all of you, to post on our socials. So have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Candace. All right. Council members, you have before you minutes of the mayor and council meeting of July the 20th, 2026. I will entertain a motion.
Move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, under unfinished business, item number 3, second reading ordinance 26-15 to hear the request of Amin Ali to rezone from medium-density single-family residential R3 to rural residential R5 attractive land totaling 1.102 acres located at 400 Birchfield Avenue, parcels 12-202-05-047 and parcel 12-202-05-048. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I believe in the last meeting, I gave a presentation, of course, summarized that the staff recommendation was for approval. Also noted some comments. Of course, there was one individual that spoke as a neighbor in opposition. And there was some discussion that occurred that the potential request by the petitioner for, I believe it was up to 3 duplexes on the property, simply would not be possible due to stormwater regulations and the flood zone and things like that. So it would likely be quite limited in its development potential, even if it is rezoned to R5, and would likely result in maybe one additional lot that a duplex could be built upon. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council members, Go ahead, sir.
Did your staff know that just like 2 parcels upstream, it floods on a regular basis, and this is actually downstream? So this actually floods pretty much, and actually this last rain event, it flooded also.
We simply had the flood maps, and that's what we used in the creation of our analysis. But that was brought up, and the individual who spoke in opposition was a neighbor in the community and did mention that as well, that there is some flooding there. So probably without some significant engineering, that would likely be an issue for any new construction.
All right, are there any other questions or refresh my memory? Presently, the petitioner has acquired this property, or?
That is correct, and there is a single-family dwelling on the subject property, so it would have to be divided for any additional development.
Okay, but presently there is single family there.
That is correct.
Okay.
And it was proposed that that would remain, so there would be an additional duplex to be divided from this property and a duplex to be built.
That property now, that house is actually empty, and the adjacent property that this site is on is usually a field where they put like vegetables and corn.
Okay.
Because it floods.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments on this item? All right. If not, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to deny.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there is a motion to deny and there is a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of denial?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Item is denied. Thank you, Ethan. Okay, under new business, item number 4, review of 2026 alcohol beverage applications. Jesse?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everybody. We have quite a few applications. I'll start with the first one being business owner Cafe Q2Q LLC, doing business as Cafe Q2Q. The applicant being Madison Smith. The physical address will be 307 East Morris Street. They're applying for a pouring beer and wine license for a bar, and it comes with a positive recommendation by the Public Safety Commission.
All right, questions or comments on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. The second one is going to be business owner Blancas Venue LLC, doing business as Blancas Venue. The applicant's name is Jose Gonzalez Reyes. The address will be 1359 Pleasant Grove Drive. They're applying for a pouring beer and wine license for an event center. And it comes with a positive recommendation by the Public Safety Commission.
All right, any questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank
item
you.
number 3.
The third one is going to be owner Cuban Restaurant Sugar and Fire LLC, doing business as Cuban Restaurant Sugar and Fire. The applicant's name is Elianis Pino. The address will be 319 North Hamilton Street. It is for a restaurant, and they're applying for pouring beer, wine, and liquor. And it also comes with a positive recommendation by the Public Safety Commission.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion,
Second.
a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. The fourth one's going to be owner Madhav Dalton LLC, doing business as Turbo Shop. The applicant's name will be Jignesh Kumar Patel. Address will be 1246 North Thornton Avenue. It's for a retail store. They're applying for pouring beer and wine.
All right, go ahead.
It comes with a positive recommendation by the Public Safety Commission.
Are there questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll
Move we approve.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 5.
Thank you. The fifth one is going to be business owner Mariscos El Camarón LLC, doing business as Mariscos El Camarón. The applicant's name is Jose Martinez. Physical address will be 229 North Hamilton Street. This one's a license addition. They currently hold a pouring beer, wine, and liquor license, but they're also adding a local caterer license for beer, wine, and distilled spirits.
All right, are there questions or comments on this item? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion,
Second.
second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number 6.
Last one's going to be business owner CRNG LLC doing business as Cyrus Open Range and Garden. The applicant's name is Daniel Weller. The address will be 208 North Penn Street. It's similar as the last one, a license addition to a local caterer license for beer, wine, and distilled spirits.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right, under item number 5, service agreement with essential personnel for DPD personnel management software.
Good evening, everyone. Dalton Police Department is requesting approval to enter into an agreement with Essential Personnel Incorporated for the utilization of their performance management software platform. This platform will take the place of our current performance management software service, which no longer meets our department's needs. The selection process for the new software platform included a review of several providers with Essential Personnel offering the most beneficial features and receiving all positive reviews from other CLIA accredited law enforcement agencies. The cost is $7,017 for 2026, which does include a one-time startup fee. Funding is available in our current budget to cover this cost. For 2027, the annual fee is $12,050. The city attorney worked with Essential Personnel to structure the language of the agreement to match state law and city requirements. And this proposal comes with a positive recommendation from the Public Safety Commission. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. All right, item number 6, tentative allocation of fiscal year 27 federal funds for the airport. Andrew?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I have here a tentative allocation of federal funds, 111,000 from our annual NPE funds and 132,000 from our AIG funds. These would be used for pavement rehabilitation design services for the remaining pavement that has not been rehabbed in the last 3 years. You can see on the map there, the orange areas are pavements that have not been rehabbed. Up on the north end, that has been since probably the 1980s. And in the middle, the late 1990s. And then on the south end since 2007. The local share would be $13,500 if the entire amount were to be used. But this is just to give GDOT an intent to fund. So we don't yet have the actual amounts that this would cost in hand yet. Once we do get those estimates, it will be presented to the mayor and council again for approval at that time.
So that's not binding.
That's correct.
I guess I'm not
Well,
understanding.
it's binding as to the engineering services, a
Okay.
committal to proceed with engineering, right?
Not yet. So we would have an additional, this is just an intent to proceed with the funding. So then we will receive a proposal from the engineer, which will be an actual dollar amount. And then we will approve that, those services at the actual amount. So this is just to receive the federal funds. GDOT has to know our intent to fund it.
Well, what's the anticipated amount? Ballpark?
The anticipated amount would be, the maximum for us would be 13,500. If the actual dollar amount for the project comes in less than the total amount allocated, our share would be lower than that. So it would be 13,500 or less. And the funding would not occur till likely January of 2027.
I believe this is the only remaining asphalt that has not been resurfaced in the last, 4 years,
Correct.
I guess.
All right, are there any questions or comments on this item further? All right,
Motion to approve.
motion,
Second.
a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. All right, number 8, resolution 26-21, affirming and ratifying agreements for TAD number 4.
At a budget amendment, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 7, fiscal year 2026, budget amendment number 3. Cindy?
Good evening. You have before you proposed budget amendment number 3. We did discuss this at last month's Finance Committee meeting. This budget amendment will impact 8 governmental funds, of which 3 of the funds will result in a reduced fund balance. One of those is general fund. We are proposing to increase budget line revenue items, $625,800. Those increase in revenues will also increase a corresponding expense line for local road assistance funds, reimbursement of some insurance funds for the cemetery headstones, also nuisance abatement, $40,000, and then a boost grant for fees at the recreation center of $35,000. Items that will reduce, this is going to result in a $1,906,200 reduction in fund balance of the general fund. That is made up of an increase of payments to the Emory Center of $7,200, Whitfield County Tax Commissioner $18,000, capital bonded debt for projects in that capital fund of $327,000, a transfer out for our 2026 CIP of $1,554,000. The next fund that will see a decrease in fund balance will be the Capital Projects Fund. We did approve at the last Finance Committee meeting 2026 CIP allocation of $1,750,000. Of that amount, we have a transfer in of the general fund, sale of assets, reimbursement from insurance, and interest income. And we will be taking $107,000 out of the fund balance that is already sitting in cash. We have our opioid settlement fund. We have MOUs with Carter Hope of $37,000 and Dalton Serenity Club for $13,000. It will reduce fund balance of $50,000, which we do have the cash sitting there as well from our opioid settlement fund. And that covers budget amendment number 3.
All right. Are there questions or comments on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 8, resolution 26-21, affirming and ratifying agreements for TAD number 4.
This next item is just to put in resolution form to affirm and ratify agreements for our TAD number 4. On March the 7th, 2022, council approved intergovernmental agreements with Dalton Public School Systems and Whitfield County. And we also approved a development agreement with Hammond Creek Township. This doesn't change the agreements. It's just that the development agreement refers to a resolution. So we need to put this in the form of a resolution.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
I think our screen is catching up for the folks watching that are here viewing on the screen and our screen. I think we're one slide behind. Sorry we're having I think just a little technical difficulty there. Moving on to item number 9. First reading ordinance 26-16, the request of BC Managing LLC to annex 21.5 acres located on Willowdale Road, Northwest Dalton, Georgia. Tax parcel 12-146-03-000 into the city of Dalton is 0 lot line residential R4, parcel 12-146-03-000. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This request would be an
I'm
annexation.
going to ask you to wait one second. Do we think we can?
We're working on it, Madam Mayor.
People just give us just a minute. I think it's meaningful because we're going to view a plat, or parcel. So give us one second.
reboot, Mayor.
Okay, how long does that take?
5 minutes.
Okay, folks, it's going to be 5 minutes, so I'm going to ask that Ethan go ahead and discuss the item. It is not eligible for a vote tonight. It is a first reading, but Ethan, if you can go ahead and present. So to say again, this is going to be on Willowdale Road, parcel 12-146-03-000. It's 21 and a half acres, and this is to consider zero lot line residential R4.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. The request before us ultimately is 3 items on the agenda as it was submitted, and essentially I'll just give a summary altogether to keep it simple. And we have 2 parcels of land, each of them a little over 20 acres in size. So the total property size is a little over 40 acres in total. These are 2 parcels that are adjacent side by side and have frontage on Willowdale Road. And the request is to annex each of these 2 parcels into the city of Dalton and concurrently to ask for a rezoning from the current R2 low-density single-family residential zone district to what we call zero lot line R4 residential. Very quickly, I will just say that in the staff report, staff analysis, we have resounding support and a recommendation to approve the annexation, largely due to the fact that it is within a large unincorporated county island. So this would help to reduce the size of that island and create a more consistent boundary for the city. Are there any questions in regard to the annexation itself?
Anyone? Okay.
Conveniently, because we have the unified zoning ordinance and the county and the city both have zoning, the subject property can be annexed into the city under its current R2 zoning. So I just wanted to make that quick
Question,
point.
Can you see this on your computer up there?
No, sir.
I was just wondering, it's a little part that's at the bottom right there that seems to be still white. I'm wondering if that's just where the line got off, or is that going to create a smaller island? If you can see. Very close.
All right, we're close, so appreciate our staff working on this. Okay, now we have visual.
You see right there at the bottom where that white is under that black line? Is that just a mishap, or is that going to be?
That looks like it might be right of way. That could be a GIS error. I discussed this with some city staff prior to the analysis being written. And we had to do it. If you look at it as it is presented to you in this zoomed in version, it would actually look like you would be creating an island to the west, those 3 or 4 parcels to the west. But if you were to zoom out a lot further from the vantage point that we have on the screen, there's a much larger unincorporated island that this is within. So it would help to shrink that island. There will still be unincorporated islands within this area.
I was looking right here.
Right along the right of way of the bypass. Right. That very well could be right of way, and that could simply be an alignment issue with GIS. I'm not aware of that being a part of any private property that is outside the city. But those are the 2 parcels, 2 contiguous parcels that make up this request. Again, annexation recommendation is to approve the annexation. In regard to the rezoning request to R4, very quickly to point out the differences in the R2 and R4 zone districts, and that is that in the R2 zone district with public sewer access, which this property certainly has, your smallest lot size is 15,000 square feet. In the R4 zone district that's being proposed, your smallest lot size can be 4,500 square feet. So you can see big difference, as the petitioner mentioned earlier tonight. There is a difference, significant difference in the lot density or unit per acre density of the R2 compared to the R4. So this would be a significant increase in unit per acre density. Some other things to mention are that during the presentation at the public hearing, we Staff recommended to deny the rezoning just on a couple of factors, one of those being that the majority of property surrounding the subject property is zoned R2, and a number of those lots have been developed, some recently, some for quite a number of years. And this would create, a dissimilar character. At the time the staff analysis was written, we did not have a site plan illustrating the buffer the petitioner has spoken on earlier tonight. So there was development almost immediately adjacent to those existing single-family estates within Windermere and along Hag Mill. And one of the challenging factors of the subject property is that it has a tremendous amount of topography. It's a lot of vertical elevation on this property, some that goes below Windermere and Hag Mill, and then quite proud of Windermere and Hag Mill. It's a lot higher in certain areas. So creating an effective buffer is more challenging on a property like this between the existing estates in Windermere and along Hag Mill, most particularly, and the proposed development and the density change that we would see there. With all that being said, we did have one individual speaking on behalf of the Windermere community in opposition. There were many, many others at that meeting who also noted their opposition in a show of hands at the request of our chairman of the Planning Commission. So with all that being said, the Planning Commission recommendation, after deliberating for some time and bringing up the points and the conditions proposed by the petitioner, their recommendation ultimately was to deny the rezoning and to approve the annexation. So that was the same outcome as the staff recommendation. Since then, I believe there's been some work, and you may have been presented with some of those conditions that the petitioner had proposed as a way to mitigate some of those concerns with a larger buffer, a few less lots, and some design changes to the elevations or the architectural design of the homes that would be built there. And I just want to make a quick point procedurally that should the rezoning be approved, that it is imperative that any of those conditions be made a part of that motion, that not a simple approval of the R4 rezoning would be made, but a rezoning with those conditions. So just wanted to make that point. That would be very important, that if there is an approval in the future, that those conditions would be made part specifically of that motion, since those were not a part of the Planning Commission motion or cited in the staff analysis. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments on this item in regards to annexation? Okay. It's a first reading, so it is not eligible for any action tonight. Item number 10, first reading ordinance 26 that. Are we hearing them both together? I don't need to read for the record, and they're separated as items.
I think he's gone through them.
So I don't need
to recognize that we have three ordinances, however you'd like to do it, Mayor.
So this would, so 9, 10, and 11, you don't need me to read.
I think we have them on the agenda. If you'd like to, you certainly can.
Just procedurally, do I need to capture it for the minutes of these? Do I need to read them?
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So we've already heard discussion from Ethan, and if council members will be offered another opportunity for any questions or comments. So first reading for ordinance 26-17, to hear the request of BC Managing LLC to annex 20.6 acres located at 1006 Willowdale Road, Northwest Dalton, Georgia, tax parcel 12-146-02-00000 into the city of Dalton as zero lot line residential R4. All right, item number 11, in regards to rezoning, is a first reading ordinance 26-18, to hear the request of BC Managing LLC to rezone from low-density single-family residential R2 to zero lot line residential R4, a tract of land totaling 42 acres located at 1006 Willowdale Road Northwest and unaddressed Willowdale Road Northwest, Dalton, Georgia. Parcels 12-146-03000 and 12-146-02-000. Council members, do you have any questions or comments in regards to rezoning? Okay. And Ethan, if you have nothing else to offer, we will move on to item number 12. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Item number 12, first reading ordinance 26-19 to amend Chapter 6 of the 2001 Revised Code of the City of Dalton, Georgia, captioned alcoholic beverages by striking, repealing, and deleting the definition. Excuse me one second. The definition of local caterer or concessionaire set forth in Section 6-1 and replacing it with a new definition of local caterer or concessionaire by striking, repealing, and deleting Section 6-73 captioned amount of fees and replacing it with a new Section 6-73 by striking, repealing, and deleting Section 6-110 captioned local caterer or concessionaire, preferred caterer and concessionaire, and replacing it with a new Section 6-110 by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection B of Section 6-111 captioned temporary permits for nonprofit civic organizations and replacing it with a new subsection B to amend Chapter 10 of the 2001 Revised Code of the City of Dalton, Georgia, captioned amusements and entertainment, Section 10-112 caption sale of beer and/or wine by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection A2 of Section 10-112 and replacing it with a new subsection A2, and by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection D1 of Section 10-112 and replacing it with a new subsection D1 to amend Chapter 26 of the 2001 Revised Code of the City of Dalton, Georgia, captioned businesses, Article 11, captioned event facilities, by striking, repealing, and deleting Section 26-414 and replacing it with a new Section 26-414, and to extend the time for owners and operators of event facilities and micro-event facilities currently operating in the city to come into compliance with Chapter 26 of the 2001 Revised Code of the City of Dalton, Georgia, captioned businesses, Article 11, captioned event facilities, through and including November the 16th, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. This is an ordinance that it addresses several things, but primarily the catering requirement in the alcohol code. And the idea was to make catering licenses easier to get, to clarify the requirements for those licenses and to make them less expensive. And so in doing that, we took out the food requirement. We made clear that this was an add-on license to other pouring licenses. And the fee was reduced to $75 per category of alcohol that the caterer chooses to serve. And so that's sort of the general overview. I'll go through each change that we made just very briefly. Section 6.1 is the definitions, and that's where we took out the food requirement and made clear that local caterers and concessionaires are those pouring outlets that have actually obtained a local caterer and concessionaire license. Section 673 deals with the fees for that. That's where we changed the fee to $75 for each category. We have also made clear that those who can apply for this are fixed establishments within the city who, again, already have an alcohol license. They would be able to cater for the same type of alcohol license that they have at their fixed establishment. And that tracks state law. Section 6.110, again, on this, we took out the requirement for caterers to sell food. We made it consistent with state requirements to track state law and the Department of Revenue regulations. Any pouring outlet in the city except for an event facility would be able to apply for the license. Sunday sales would be permitted to the extent that state law allows them. There are also some requirements that address reporting and payment of excise taxes that are clarifications that go along with the rest of the code. In Section 6.111, we did make one change related to temporary permits for nonprofits. Currently, we allow 3 permits per year that last up to 3 days. We've had some requests to have that go longer, and so state law allows 6 permits per year. This would change that to 6 per year. In section 10-112, there are some changes related to festivals. An alternative festival is something that would no longer be required just to be in C3. Under certain circumstances, a festival could be other places in the city according to this draft. Section 112 was also changed to clarify that that alternative festival areas that are not in C3, only local caterers and nonprofits will be able to serve those festivals. And then we made a clarification also in the new event facility ordinance in section 26-414. This is not really a substantive change, it's just a clarification that grandfathered entities are those who previously the language says don't meet the distance requirements of the code. We changed that to reference the location requirements in section 26-407. There are also some slight changes to make clear that in the event of a life safety concern, that we can address those issues as well. And then finally, we made a change that would allow current event facilities and micro event facilities to come into compliance with the new law until November 16th. Currently, I think the time is about to run out, and so that gives some additional time. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jonathan. Are there questions or comments on this item? If not, this is a first reading, so it is not eligible to be acted upon tonight. I'll move on to item number 13. Equipment loan agreement between the Georgia Department of Transportation and the City of Dalton regarding the use of onboard units for V2X communications for vehicle to infrastructure communications. Chief?
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Yes, this is a $0 equipment loan agreement between the Georgia Department of Transportation and the City of Dalton regarding onboard units. These onboard units will be placed in all first out apparatuses and command vehicles and will actuate the lights as the apparatuses approach the intersections. Currently, if you've looked throughout the city, you've seen them on the power poles already. They kind of look like a little Wi-Fi unit, and they've really put them almost everywhere. This does come as it's reviewed from the city attorney and does come with a positive recommendation from the Public Safety Council.
All right, are there questions or comments on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, there's no supplemental business before this body. Candace has shared announcements for this Saturday. If you have an opportunity, please make it out to Burr Park between 6 and 8. Council members, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.